Yo, brand new channel. Yes, indeed. Voice is still the same. Hello, everybody. My name is I'm not Diggy Dog 233. You might be thinking, that's a strange name. Well, because I am not like Diggy Dog 233. Diggy Dog 233, he watches wrestling exclusively. That's all you're going to get on that channel, reviews of wrestling. On this channel, we're going to go with video games, politics, and my own 3D animations and my art. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my new channel, and I am not Dicky Dog 233. And today we are talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. So as we all know, the Switch came out in 2017. It was a long time ago from this point of view in 2025. And it originally launched at the original Nintendo Switch launched at $299 in 2017. And in 2025, that $299 will be $390. So we see a very stark increase in the price from the Nintendo Switch to the Nintendo Switch 2. It will be $450 at launch in the USA. That's pricey. The PS5, I believe, cost around the same range, about 500 or so, but, it was a more stronger console in my opinion, but Nintendo, I guess, is just feeling like they're going with the times, and they're saying like, "Okay, now it's 2025. We felt like we put in like 30 different new things into this thing, so we're gonna charge it up at like 450." From a consumer's perspective, it's still very expensive for at the as we see right now for the games, are very much a lot of just a bunch of Switch 1 upgrades. And that's another thing we're gonna have to get to later on in this video. The upgrades that you have to pay to play like Tears of Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch 2 is kind of ridiculous. And I do feel like Nintendo is a bit too cocky with this price. And we also have to take to account tariffs and all the stuff that's happening in America and the rest of the world right now that might inflect this price and make it go up. But from my current stand of view right now, it's a bit too pricey, and I don't know if there's like I mean, there's a lot of good games. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know at this point right now. I, as a consumer, would pay 450 if I had money. I obviously don't. Anyway, for the hardware part for the Switch 2, I would say like well, I would say I'm reading off an article right now. The Switch 2 console has the same thickness, but has a much larger display at 7.9 inches at 1080p resolution, as versus the 6.2-inch 720 screen on the old console. And I believe they're talking about on the let's see if they're talking about on the dock or not. So yes, when you hold the Switch 2, it's still going. I mean, I still think that's a dumb name, by the way, Switch 2. But what else are you gonna call it? It's just like the Wii U. But when you pull out the Switch 2, you will have a 7.9-inch screen in 1080p resolution, which is pretty darn great at for doing something like on a handheld. The display at the 1080p resolution, I will always respect that. The Joy Cons and the new Joy Cons, they attach magnetically instead of like you literally have to like switch them into your console. I like the new designs personally. I think they look much better than the old Switch ones, Joy-Cons, and I always hate the Joy-Cons because they're just so small. And like, I know a lot of people have small hands. If you have like big freaking hands, it's so hard to actually like concentrate and try to like play the game because you just like you're struggling with this itty bitty controller. And I do like that they at least make it a tad bigger. And I pray to God because I don't know if they said anything about them fixing the drift problem, and we all know what happened with the drift on the Nintendo Switch. I don't think they addressed that in the conference, but I pray to God that they did not have the same problem. So yes, the Switch 2 is also using the same similar game cards to the original Switch, but Nintendo noted that they will be faster this time around. And that's great because that does mean that we have backwards compatibility between our Switch 1 games and Switch 2, which is great, but I'm still slightly confused because if I own like a cart for a Switch 1 game and I wanted to get upscaled or whatever, from like the direct from what I watched in, it felt like it was supposed to be like you got to charge like an extra like $10 or $20 or like pay another dollar to make it better or whatnot. And that's kind of weird to me because you didn't have to do that with Xbox. They just kind of updated the game and made it look great. But for Nintendo, supposedly you have to pay for it. And we'll see later on as I read this article. But still, it's kind of wacky you had to do it like that. But it is great to have backwards compatibility. The Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller will also be available with the C button to activate game chat. They have this new thing where if you press the C, oh, there's also a headphone jack too in it. So that's tight. But if you press the C button, you get to go to game chat, including with in-game chat. There's voice chat. And that's a first for Nintendo, I think. Nintendo has never had a voice chat, and quite frankly, that's great. I don't know why it took Nintendo. I can use the word damn, so I don't know why it took Nintendo damn near like 20 plus years to get a competent in-game chat when I'm pretty sure Xbox was doing that back in the 2000s. It didn't seem like it was that hard of a system to do, but I'm glad Nintendo finally got with the times and we can have voice chat with people. And not only voice chat, there's also a camera that you can buy with your Nintendo Switch too, which I always hate saying that, your Nintendo Switch 2. It's such a stupid name. But there's a camera you can buy with that you can do video chat. And I'm just like, huh, that's kind of weird. 'Cause, I always think about it. Who the hell is actually like trying to like do a video chat while you're like playing freaking Mario Kart? Well, you think I'm gonna be focusing on my friends' faces while I'm like while I'm swifting and dwerving or whatnot, or when I'm playing Smash, I'm like, yeah, I want to see my buddy's face. Yeah, that makes me excited. No, like who the hell wants to see all that? I just think it's a thing you shouldn't really have, or not really have. It just seems kind of worthless to have, kind of like the Connect, but it now has these options, and I still feel like you're so behind because like I said, even with the Connect and all that, that's 10 plus years ago. Other companies like Sony and Microsoft has definitely had that. And like I said, you're thinking about it from a consumer base, right? We're consumers right now in this capitalistic hellscape. If we're all broke, so we're kind of expecting some good stuff right now. And honestly, right now, it's not looking too great on the Nintendo side. That's off of my opinion right now. If you're a consumer, because not everything that they're adding onto this console is not something that's revolutionary. It's something that's already happened. So at this point, why would you want to waste money for something that you already have in a white box with a Sony logo on it? And I'm not no biased Sony fanboy, or I hate Nintendo. I'm just thinking about it from my own consumer mindset. Now that was most of the specs. I didn't mention the whole aspect of like the digital sharing play where you can share your game with your family or friends. I guess most people use it for friends, but it's like they don't really own it. They don't really have it. I don't know. That whole thing is confusing. I couldn't explain it to you. But for in terms of the games that we saw so far, um, from the direct, I think the first game that was shown was the new Mario Kart. Mario Kart World, Mario Kart World. And from what I've seen from Mario Kart World, it looks fine. It looks fun. I don't play Mario Kart, so I don't have an opinion on it. I never was a fan of it, but that's besides the point. I think it looks visually great. I think it looks visually great. Like I do believe that like all these new games do look nice in a way, especially when you scale it up to 4K or whatnot. I think that's a great idea, or the great. I like the art direction that they're going with right now. I mess with that. I mess with that. But there is a little thing about these games. But before we get to that, I'm just gonna read out some more games. Next we have Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. It's a weird game. I'm on the Polygon now. Is it a tutorial? Is it a game? Wherever you want to class it, it is. I don't know. It's not free though. And that's something that kind of upsets me because I'm like, huh? Why is this like it seems to be like like in the PlayStation 5 they had that Astrobot thing that like everybody on PlayStation has so you can play the game a little bit. It's kind of like a free game. This seems to be like in the same light, but you have to pay money for it. And that right there is kind of where I'm getting towards the negative aspect of Nintendo. I've been pretty negative throughout the whole review, but I feel like they're being a bit too greedy with the money prices right now for these games. I feel like they're being a bit too greedy. I think they're expecting us as consumers to just eat their slop like the greedy little like the little pigs we are. But ladies and gentlemen, you got to think about it for a second. Do you want to pay like $80 for a game? Do you want to pay $80 for a game? Hell, I don't like paying $70 for a game. Do you wanna pay for a freaking tutorial? No. Or I would hope so, if you had some gosh darn clash conscience. Next we have Drag times Drag or Drag X Drag. Uh, I drag on the mind. I'm a Dragula fan, excuse me. Shout out to the Boule, Swantula, and Dragmorta. Oh no, Drag X Drive, a wheelchair basketball game. I guess everybody needs to get everybody needs a damn video game nowadays. To save on editing, we're gonna watch the trailer together. Only a minute. Peggy 3. Uh, uh, don't get copyright. We don't need the music. We don't need all that fucking music. Sorry, whatever. I can use the F word once. It looks like a game. I can tell you that much. It's a game for sure. Like, I don't know if it's a game I would ever play. Let me put it on 4K like it would be on the Switch. On 4K resolution, not bad. Doesn't look that bad. It looks kind of weird. I don't know what to say honestly. It looks like a game that would have came out like 10 years ago. Like that's how underwhelming this game felt when I saw it. I was like, really? You're gonna advertise this game? Yeah, he can wave his hand with the Switch thing. That's cool, but it's just basketball. Like, it's just basketball with wheelchairs. I don't think that's like I don't know if that's gonna sell. No, I don't feel like this is gonna sell. It seemed like an interesting game to me. Next. We had another one, Hyrule: Age of Imprisonment. Now, this is a prequel to Tears of Kingdom, as it said in the trailer. Well, we're about to watch it anyway. Watch it in the 4K, baby. No sound. You don't need a sound. You just need to hear my voice. Okay, so yeah, it's an AAA game studio, 4K. Not bad looking right now. Um, Still, it's not like a prequel, as in like another Breath of the Wilds or Tears of Kingdom like game. It's more of a Hyrule Warriors game, as in this is a Dynasty Warriors game. But it's still very much technically, not even technically, it is a first party Nintendo game. This is first party Zelda. This is exclusively Zelda. I think I've seen this commercial once or twice before, but yeah. Under 4K, I'm assuming they're running this in game right now. Not bad. I'm playing it on 4K. It looks pretty damn cool. Still, it's not a game I would play, honestly, but that's not for me. This is for y'all to look at the games to see. I'm not playing half of this half of this damn thing. I don't really care for Dynasty Warrior games. Not saying they're bad or good, just don't care about them. But it looks fun. It seems like they're having a good time. It seems like they're having a jolly good time. Look at them. They're having a good time. Look at them having fun. Yeah. Like, it looks nice. Like, if it looks nice, I do like that. Ooh, I do like that because that time control power stuff in that game was tight. It does look nice. It does look nice. So if you're into this, Hyrule Warriors right here, baby. Age of Imprisonment. Next we have From Software, the creators of Elden Ring and the Dark Souls series. I actually played a couple From Software's games, specifically Dark Souls 3. Goated. We have Dusk Bloods, a new entry into their Souls-like games, I like to call them. Let's go look at this intro. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Don't know if I need all that audio. All right, it's on 4K. Let's see how it looks. Now, when I saw this at first, I was like, okay, damn, that looks much better under 4K than it was on my fucking screen, my freaking screen resolution. Excuse me. Um, yeah, I was like, oh, okay, we got a little nice hand touching, a little romantic, a little vampiric. I don't know what's happening, but it looks great. Looks nice. Like eventually, when because I talk trash about the console, but I will get the console, just not now. I'll get it within a year. So at this point, I was thinking, oh, we're about to do Bloodborne because I didn't know I don't play Bloodborne, but I know what Bloodborne is, and it looked like a Bloodborne type of affair happening right here. But nope. I got it from like the little sucking hole right there. Pause. It was probably some vampireness from software. We have what do we have? What do we have? We have trains. Nice looking train. Nice looking buildings. Not a bad model. Honestly, not a bad shot. I don't know if this game could go up to 4K. It looks like it's hard cap at 1080 right now, but not bad. Or maybe I know jack nothing about quality. I like her. She's gonna be a fan favorite. But yeah, that's basic. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, no, that was a good shot. That was a good shot right there. That was a good shot. That was a good shot. That was a good shot. I like that shot. I like that shot. It's not that bad looking. It's not that bad looking. It's not that bad looking. You can see more of the gameplay, but not that bad. Like, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit though. 'Cause, I got a limited time. I'm not trying to keep y'all here forever. Mostly there's a bunch of like little hand wavings, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. I like this little movement right here, the little magic drop with the little oomph. Is it a game that I will be playing? No, but it's a game that you should be looking forward to. All right. And the other game we have is a return from the Kirby franchise from the creator Masahiro Sakurai. I do speak Nihongo no Hanasu. I but yes, we have Kirby, but not just any Kirby. Do you remember the 2000s? Do you remember the 2000s? That was a long time ago. Because now, sorry, that's my wrestling personality coming out. But now we're having more Air Ride. Kirby Air Ride, 2000 and I don't know when it's gonna come out. I think it was like 2026. But yeah, we have Kirby Air Ride right here in this long, long animation. It's a great animation. I love this animation. I love this animation. This animation looks so freaking beautiful. As an animator myself, mwah, Kino. That is some good animation right there. And it all kind of goes into the air ride. I like it. Now, this is a game that I feel like is actually more hyped in my opinion than Mario Kart because we haven't had a Kirby Air Ride in like 20 years. We had like in those 20 years, we had about like 7, 10 different Mario Karts. So I'm actually very happy for that one. Shout out to you Kirby fans. Oh, now this is the game that I felt like was the best game of the direct, in my humble opinion. I think this game looks fan freaking tastic. I was like, "Is this a Mario game?" What type of game is this? It has to be Mario, right? But then I seen that little banana moon right there. I was like, "Oh, no, that ain't no Mario. That ain't no Mario." And by the way, I am African American, so I am a black, you know. I'm like, "No, that ain't it. That's a monkey. That ain't no monkey. That's a donkey. That ain't no donkey. That's a Donkey Kong, baby. That's DK." I like this. Look at that. Look at that fur texture. Look at this. In-game footage. This is pretty damn good for in-game footage. I really enjoy the look of this game. This is the game. What's this game called, by the way? I enjoyed this game. What is it called? Donkey Kong Bonanza. All right, mouse. That was unnecessary. That was very unnecessary, mouse. But yes, Donkey Kong Bonanza. It looks to be a very fun looking game. Honestly, look at like I just like how like the area effects are just getting destroyed constantly, leaving like all this beautiful destruction, and it's like nice. It's nice looking. It looks like a fun game. It reminds me of Mario Odyssey. Obvious comparison, obviously, but I feel like this is like the Switch Mario Odyssey. Oh, and they even got the reference. They even got the reference. Ah! Yeah, this is a game that we should all be looking forward to. I might even enjoy it more than Mario Odyssey. I ain't gonna know. We're gonna have to see. I don't know DK lore like that, but it seems to be a fun game. And here's Survival Kids. I don't know what this is, but it's the launch title, I think. It's a 4 kids stranded, collect materials. Okay, it looks like a game that came out on like the Xbox Live Arcade in 2012. So what to say is it looks old as hell. But there's so much more games coming out. Outside of the Nintendo Switch Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives and whatnot, there's also Nintendo Switch Edition titles for Switch 1 games that are patched to make the most out of the Switch 2 hardware. These are available both as upgrade packs if you own the Switch 1 version of a standalone edition for the Switch 2. Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda Tears of Kingdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, plus Star Wars Cross, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Pokemon Legends, ZNA, Civ 7, Story of Season, Grand Bazaar, Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, Shadow Labyrinth, and Tamagotchi Plaza. Did you see all that? Cool. Beautiful. And not only that, you're getting the Nintendo GameCube. Yes, for the price of like $7.99 a month or like $60 a year or whatever the Nintendo Switch Online is. You too can play Nintendo GameCube games on your Nintendo Switch 2 in upscale quality. Yes, I want to see my 2001 game bit played on there, but that is pretty tight. The GameCube is something that we were all asking for. I thought, it would have made more sense the GameCube to come out for the Switch. I don't know why it didn't come for the Switch, but this is Nintendo we're talking about. They're capitalistic grummy scumbags at the moment. But yeah, it's tight. You can play Melee on your Switch too now. But you can do that on your Steam Deck. But that's besides the point. Um and there's so many damn games because like I forgot about the third parties, right? Because that was like the majority of of this direct. Guys, 2 Ridge Racers. You can get a game for 93. The Bestario, Borderlands 4, Bravely Default, Flying Fairy HD remaster. Crazy ass name. Cyberpunk 2077, Damien X Machinima Titanic Session, Deltarune chapters 1 through 4, EA Sports FC, Elden Rings. And like 2 of those things right there, Cyberpunk and Elden Rings, I would say like that's tight. And that's amazing that it can run on the Switch too. I think that's great. I think that's great. I think that's amazing. But yeah, Elden Ring, same over there. Enter the dungeon. The dungeon, I guess. Fast Fusion, Final Fantasy 7 remake, Intergrade. That's tight. That's tight. It's a nice return from Square Enix back to Nintendo stuff. I like that. Fortnite. I really did not think Fortnite was not going to be on the Switch. Now I don't know why you even mentioned that. You didn't have to mention that Fortnite was going to be on the Switch too. I think everybody and their grandmama knew Fortnite was going to be on the Switch too. It's like it's like saying we're not gonna have a Mario and the Switch. Like, come on. First Squadron, Phoenix, Goodnight Universe, Hades 2, Hitman, World Assassination, Hogwarts Legacy, Hollow Knight, Silksong, Human Fall Flat 2, Kumutsu, what? Kunutsugami, Path of Goddess, Madden NFL, Marvel Cosmic Invasions, My Time at the Evershine, bars, NBA 2K, Nobunaga's Ambition, Awakening Complete Edition, No Sleep for the Kamine Date from AI to Summon. I'm just reading words. Professor Latin, Layton in the New World of Steam, Project 007, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, Raidu Remastered. Shout out to Atlas. You should add more Atlas games. The Mysterious of the Soulless Army, Sonic X Shadow Generation. Oh, okay. Star Seekers Astronaut Expeditions, Star Wars Outlaws. That looked pretty nice. Street Fighter 6. That's pretty cool. Sweet Fiction, Synth Beats, Reanimo, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 plus 4, 2 Point Museum, Wild Heart S, Witchbrook, WWE 2K, Yakuza, Old Director Cut, Yoka Replayly, and those are all the games so far. Whew. But getting on to my final point of the video. First off, if you made it 30 minutes into my first video, you're a keeper. Thank you. Second, I am I'm cautiously waiting on it. Um, if I were to tell you, like, if the Switch 2 came out today, I would tell you not to buy it. I would tell you, as of right now, it does not seem to be worth the money. That's just my opinion, but I'm also speaking on a broke man's perspective because I am broke as hell. But if I was even rich, I would still be hesitant on buying the game system so far. The price tag is $450, and at most, you're getting like 3 really good, first play, not first party titles, right? About 3 or 4, good first party titles, and most of those first party titles are like, well, yes, Mario costs Worlds, that costs $80, and it's $30 cheaper if you buy it with the bundle. That's what they're trying to make you do, really. They want you to buy the bundle and pack you in with the game. But regardless, even if, like, let's say you couldn't afford a bundle, but you could afford a console, I think $80 as like a set price for games are getting way too expensive. Like I say the same for Sony, I say the same for Xbox, because I feel like a lot of new games nowadays are not worth the $80 price tag. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Mario Kart's gonna be a bad game. I don't think Mario Kart is worth $80. Because Mario Kart, yes, you can get a lot of online play. You could do millions of races, but in my calculations, I wouldn't put that above 50 bucks if I'm being honest. But I'm also a consumer. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like this Nintendo Switch 2 console is not consumer friendly. I feel like you if you're going to get this console day one, you are the most hardcore Nintendo fan. They are literally making this tailor-made for the most hardcore YouTube, high rich society people. And I think just like the Democrats, they are missing the point of like their consumer base. I feel like the reason why people like Nintendo consoles is because they were cheaper. They were like the DS was a cheaper console than the PSP, I believe. The Nintendo Wii was a cheaper console than the PlayStation 2. Inflation and all that, besides the point, it was still cheaper. It was consumer friendly. That's how Nintendo got its player base, in my opinion. They got it because they respected their player base and they knew how to satisfy the player's need while also keeping a profit. But now they're getting a bit too cocky because I feel like, in my opinion, because of the Switch One's success, they feel like they can hardball us. And because us consumers, we're just consumed. That's what we do. There's no stop. You can't stop the consumption point. Like it's going to be a consuming nation, right? Whatever. Because we are so hard line with them, we will just spend whatever money we get. And it might not be the best thing ever, because quite frankly, right now, I don't think this is the best thing ever. I don't think this is Jesus Christ rising out the water. I think this is just a glorified like PS4 Pro. That's what I think right now. I think this is a PS4 Pro in terms of like quality and whatnot. And because the first party titles like Donkey Kong and like Mario Kart, like 80 bucks, while I think those are good games, should not be 80 bucks. 80 bucks. I don't think any game should be above 80, in my opinion. But I feel like as money keeps rising up and inflation keeps rising up, it's gonna be in the hundreds pretty soon. But at that point, you gotta start thinking with your own mind. Like at this point, when the console comes out in June 5th, I believe, I would recommend everybody to wait. You should wait. You should wait 6 months. Give it 6 months before you buy it, because as of right now, I don't feel like this should be your immediate purchase. You should wait 6 months and see what else they have to announce before you put your money, before you put your wallet to the freaking corporations, all right? So, I would give it a 6 out of 10, which is not a bad score, it's okay. It was an okay presentation, but the price points and the lack of first party, um, really big first party games kinda soured it, and of course, the whole you have to upgrade your old Switch 1 games to get, like, the new edition for, like, the Zeldas and whatnot and Pokemon, I think is a little predatory. But that's just my opinion. I am not Diggy Dog 233, and I'm out. But if you enjoyed my video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it. Thanks.